Lane Resources Ltd trades on the TSXV under the ticker WLR and on the Frankfurt 6YL. It's formerly CMC Metals, but it's a North American exploration company focused on high-grade gold, silver, and polymetallic deposits and is building a diversified portfolio of mineral assets across North America. Today, we're happy to welcome CEO Kevin Brewer. Kevin's a veteran geologist and a mining executive with over 35 years in exploration, project development, and corporate leadership across North America. Kevin, we're so happy to have you on our conference today. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. It's great to have everybody here today. Yes, as Anna said, we're Walker Lane Resources, and we're exploring for gold and precious metals deposits in North America. And we will be making some forward-looking statements today. Our vision is to explore right now for high-grade gold and silver projects in the Walker Lane area of Nevada and the emerging Rancheria Silver District in Yukon, British Columbia, enabling year-round exploration. We have several objectives. We have a defined exploration strategy. It's simply discover, expand resources, and sell projects at their peak value in the advanced exploration stage. And we also have generated some revenue streams through property options, asset sales, and development of small-scale mining projects to support exploration efforts. In all this, generating shareholder value is our focus. We do this through a risk management approach where we are very careful about the projects we select. I took a lot of time to find these projects in Nevada. I've been looking in the Nevada area for over 4 years. I've been very interested in going in there. So we were very happy to finally do a deal there. We have a great team, and I'll be talking about our team and advisors as well. We have a prudent financial approach. And finally, I'll be talking also about our corporate structure. But what we did was we took a company called CMC Metals Ltd. It was strictly focused in Yukon and British Columbia. And there were some disadvantages of that because obviously we had a short exploration season. It was basically running from June to September each year, and that was it. So we had this new focus in Nevada. We picked up 3 properties there. We sold our gold mill in Bishop, California to a company called North Bay Resources, Inc., whereby we've acquired a revenue stream and 1.1 billion common shares of that company. We optioned a property in British Columbia to major miner Kerr Mining. We had a property right next door to their Silvertip mine in British Columbia, a Silvernite property. And they're working away on that. That's a 3-year deal, 3-year option deal for 75%, worth 3.5 million in expenditures. That's what they have to incur. We pick up $500,000 in the deal. We've also consolidated our stock with CMC Metals before we renamed it. So we did a 10-to-1 consolidation. So we have a very tight corporate structure. And we'll now start to look at the strong portfolio, but I'm only going to talk today about the Nevada properties. But first of all, I want to talk about why we chose the strategy we chose. And you look at guys like Kevin Smith of Crescat Capital, a well-known person in the industry, and he often says, while the discovery and exploration phase is often forgotten for a mineral exploration company, that is the phase where, if the company is successful, a lot of value is created. And you'll see that in the Lassonde curve on a life cycle mineral projects. And this is where we have a couple of projects in the growth projects phase in the Tule Canyon and Amy projects, which I'll talk about. And our aim is to bring all of our projects from this level here up the growth curve and sell it at the peak exploration stage. We are not a development company. We don't intend to be a development company. We are an exploration company. So once we get this around the PFS stage, we'll typically sell out. So why did we go to the Walker Lane area to find our properties? Well, it's one of the hottest exploration areas in North America. There's been over 50 million ounces of gold and 700 million ounces of silver and 4 million tons of copper produced in that area. And it's one of the hottest exploration areas in recent times. Of course, Barrick has had the Round Mountain mine for many years with a 20 plus million ounce gold deposit. But you got Ashanti Gold, the recent discovery at Silicon Merlin with over 16 million ounces. Goldfield have discovered 4.2 million ounces of properties, and you can name about a dozen projects right now that have had major discoveries and are being very successful in the marketplace. So it's a very exciting place to be. There's other reasons as well. I mean, Nevada is the #2 jurisdiction in the world for exploration investment, ranked by the Fraser Institute. It's got great infrastructure, moderate topography. It's easy to access your properties. There's low exploration costs. It's easy to permit your properties there. And it's got strong political support. And you start to read, guys, the senators and the statements that they make. They are just so supportive of mining and development there. It's quite unbelievable. I wish many of our Canadian politicians were as supportive as the US-based politicians in Nevada. So here we are. The Walker Lane gold trend extends from just north of Reno all the way down into northwestern Arizona. It's a belt that's about 40, it varies in width from 40 to 100 kilometers. And as I say, it's had some amazing deposits. Here's the one we just talked about. Anglo Gold Ashanti is right there. So we've got two of our projects are here, Tule Canyon and Silver Mountain, and Cambridge Mine is at that one. So we're in very close proximity to a lot of these great projects. Well, let's talk about Tule Canyon first. It's what attracted us to option Tule Canyon. Well, it was a former producer. It had two mines, the Dark Secret and East Side mines. But what was the real attraction to that as well was that there was a 4-kilometer structural corridor. And when we looked at that corridor, there was all mineralization all along it. We suspect it represents a boundary of an aeromagnetic anomaly. And it also, we expect that as we get more into this project, we'll find consistent mineralization throughout that corridor. So it's very exciting. Now, the Dark Secret and East Side mines, they have a geophysical anomaly in underneath them, a magnetic low. And this is exactly what you want to see in a gold project, because gold areas will have magnetic lows associated with them. And that. So the project is drill ready. There's several areas we want to drill, but I'm going to show you some of the results first that also attracted to us. So these figures, by the way, are on our website, so you can see them in a bigger format later on if you want to. Here's the gold in rocks in the Tule Canyon area, and you can see all those pinks and reds on the throughout the property. The pinks are greater than 100 grams per ton gold, and the reds are between 10 and 100 grams per ton gold. But you can see that throughout the property, a very high-grade gold in areas such as Ingalls Vein and China Dole in the west, and then the Dark Secret and East Side mines more in the center. And then in the eastern showings, we also have some nice returns of assays there as well. And the nice thing about this as well is that you also see silver greater than 100 grams per ton often associated with each of these 4 target areas. So we're very excited about the drill targets that exist on this property. And as you can see from this slide, you can see all of the old workings associated with every single one of those areas. And a lot of these workings were back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It'd be anything. Most of the mines were only worked to low levels, and then they were abandoned in the early 1900s, and they haven't been worked since. And just about every successful exploration company has been reworking these areas and with modern exploration techniques and finding great gold and silver deposits. So we're hoping that's going to be our case. So we're very excited. We got access roads that take us all around the project. It's easy going. We're located only 95 kilometers south of Tonopah, 85 kilometers west of Beatty, and we got a great labor pool as well. Now to our second project in the Nevada area. It's a project called the Cambridge Mine Project. I was very excited about this. This was the first project I've ever taken on where there's known visible gold in the quartz veins. Never had a project ever that's had visible gold on it. Very excited about it. People used to go down into the old mine there and go searching for gold nuggets, similar to what's pictured here. The mine was only developed at low depths again, 2 levels with reported 10,000 tons grading 0.3 per ounce a ton. And at today's prices, that would be a very valuable gold mine. Very little modern exploration on this project. So the crowd that we sampled this, we optioned these properties off, was a company called Rancheria Resources Ltd. And they have a great geologist that I've known for over 15 or 20 years. His name is Mike Power. And Mike is great, as I say, he's a great field geologist and geophysicist. And he's done some preliminary sampling along 3 areas in the Cambridge mine property. And he took 68 samples. And of those 68 samples, 20 of those samples, or 29%, assayed greater than 5 grams per ton gold. Now, that is very, very nice. It gives us lots of possible targets to look at. Some of the highest grade sample achieved was 93 grams per ton of gold. So the geochemical sampling has been very successful. We want to take it property-wide and seeing if we can identify more areas and more trends. Right now, there appears to be 3 parallel zones. He also did a hand trench of 3.2 meters that graded 14.65 grams per ton gold. So it's a very exciting project. And as you can see from the old figures, all these X's again are all historical workings or pits or little shafts on the property. So there's been a lot of activity on this Cambridge mine property over the years. So for our third property, we picked this up. It's a small property. It was really 2 claims close to Tule Canyon. Our thoughts on this were, well, it's close to a very good project that we know we're going to do a lot of work on. So it wouldn't take us much to go 2 kilometers away and work on this project. But it's a project of merit in itself as well. It's got 2 showings. First of all, the old cabin showing, which had several high-grade grabs of silver up to 3,270 grams per ton silver. Now that's almost like 30 ounces of silver. So that's over 1,500 US rock per ton. So very, very high-grade stuff. Now this is found within an area, and all these arrows along this ridge are old workings. That's a 400-meter stretch, and you're finding silver veins, stacked silver veins in all of these workings along there. So this is a bit earlier stage than Tule Canyon, but we're very excited again about the potential of this project. It's got old workings. Here's the Gulch showing and Silver Bowl mine. And that had a chip sample of 0.6 meters with 1,415 grams per ton silver, and it carried a bit of copper at 0.48%. So that is significant in itself as well, the copper. So let's go back to our vision here. So we got Tule Canyon here, and now I've got another project called Amy we'll talk about today. It's a very high grade silver, lead, zinc. Columbia is very close to the Silvertip mine. Anybody would like to talk to me afterwards, feel free to give me a call and I'll give you a debriefing on Amy, or you can probably find it on our website. So these are drill ready projects. They're down at the bottom of the growth prospects, but we plan to take them over the next couple of years, as many successful companies have, and take them up to the top of the value curve. And behind that, we have the pipeline projects, and I described two to you today, Cambridge and Silver Mountain. And then we have another project in Yukon called Logjam. So those are the pipelines that you hope will make a drill ready stage, and then you'll drill them off and start them moving them up there this way. This generates huge value. And many of the companies that are very successful today, they were in this position 3 or 4 years ago. So we now consider where Walker Lane is we are the next generation of projects that in a company to be on the market that could generate you great returns in the short term. So we are a next generation investment for sure. Now our team is very experienced in exploration. As I say, we're not a development company. John Land, he's been involved with the resource sector for many years, over 30 years. We got Douglas Coleman. He's a geologist, very knowledgeable in Mexico and southern United States. He's got 40 years in the business. And we got Jose Manuel Delgado, who's a mining lawyer and accountant. So that's the people on our board. And then we have some great advisory teams, 2 companies, Roniker McKenzie Geosciences, led by Dr. Elizabeth Roniker and Jenna McKenzie, expertise in both geology and geophysics. And then a firm called Intelligent Exploration Services, Dr. Chris Hale, he's got over 45 years experience in geosciences, backed up by his colleague, John Gilliatt. And with all this, our focus is clearly to maximize money into the ground. We have a very efficient capital approach that supports that. Our general administrative costs are some of the lowest cost tier in the sector. We operate virtual offices, so we don't have big, very expensive offices in downtown Vancouver or downtown Toronto like many juniors do. So we don't have that overhead. We've invested in camps and equipment, and that way we reduce our exploration costs in Canada. And we have a contractor approach, which avoids heavy costs in salaries and benefits. Now, I did say we had a rollback, and that resulted when we took over CMC Metals to have a really nice, tight share structure. So we've got approximately 19.6 million common shares outstanding, very few warrants. So we're in a great position. So let's look at where we're going to be. Our plan is to secure financing. I'm searching for a strategic partner, and we're going to do an equity raise. We're going to initiate a drill program at Tule Canyon. After that, we'll start to advance Cambridge Mine and Silver Mountain projects by doing some geochemical and geophysical programs on those. And meanwhile, we're working on securing permits for our projects in Yukon and British Columbia so we can recommence work on those in the third quarter of 2026. So why would people be interested in Walker Lane? Well, as I say, we're one of the micro caps with a very diversified portfolio of high-grade gold and silver projects with that are in established mining districts and with a variety of drill-ready projects and projects that we can advance along the growth curve. We have a strategic approach with financial prudency, a vision with an exit strategy. We know where we're going to take these projects. We're going to sell them at the peak of the exploration value stage, and then we're going to move along that in the next 2 to 3 years. Walker Lane is one of the few juniors which are the next generation exploration plays as other juniors and mid-tiers near their peak valuations. And I say that because I'm an investor as well. And so I'm seeing most of the companies that I've been investing in the last 3 or 4 years, they're starting to peak out in their valuations. So it's hard to find now a play where you can get that big return. Walker Lane is one of those that offers that potential. And if you are seeking an undervalued play, you want to look no further. Thank you very much for your time. I'd love to talk to people, so give me a call. My contact information is on our website. Or if you don't want to go through the expense of a call, give me an email. I'll phone you right back, and love to talk to you about our projects. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kevin. We have time for a few questions. Let's first start with financing. So how are you planning to implement financing for these projects?
Well, as I noted, we'd love to get a strategic partner. We're trying to find somebody who would be interested in possibly securing a 9.9% interest or up to a 19.9% interest in our company. And we feel that we can then leverage that, and we'll leverage some of our news as well that's upcoming to complete a financing probably within the next couple of months. So look out for that placement opportunity. It'll be a great time for you to get in and get a good position with Walker Lane.
Perfect. Thank you. Talk a little bit about your differentiating factors. How do you differentiate your company from other microcap juniors out there?
Yes, well, there are a lot of microcaps out there, but you know, I've often I had a boss once, and he said, "Grade is king," and you know, all of our projects have spectacular grades associated with them. So we look for a couple things. We want project with grades, project with the right geology, whereby we think the deposit could have some economic size. It's certainly got the potential to go that way. So the geology and the geophysics has to be pointing in that direction. And the other thing is, we always insist on being road accessible. That's not such a big deal down in Nevada, but it sure is a big deal when you're talking, working in remote areas like Yukon and northern BC. So if you don't have roads there, it's very difficult. So there's roads to every single one of our projects, and that saves us money. And then we finally look for jurisdictions where there's known mineral deposits, there are successful areas of exploration, and you know that at the end of the day, you have a strong likelihood of getting permits for your exploration and eventually permits for mine development should you be successful in finding an economic deposit. So those are all the key parameters that we look at with project selection. We've got 7 projects in that basket. And so Walker Lane is differentiated in that regard. The other thing was, as I said in the presentation, we sold our gold mill. We created ourselves a small but a nice revenue stream from that. We ended up with 1.1 billion common shares in North Bay Resources, Inc. And we also optioned off one of our properties, which again gave us a little revenue stream. It gave us a lot of expenditures on our projects. And we know that Kerr is interested in looking at other things with us. So they're a big major miner. We're a partner with them, and that all those three things sort of differentiate us from a whole big basket of companies out there that are trying to compete for the dollar in the marketplace.
Perfect. Now, Walker Lane has pivoted its focus from northern BC and Yukon into Nevada. So talk about that, and what are your future intentions with your projects in Canada?
Well, yes, we really found that, you know, the season was just too short up there. You know, we got in there in June. We used to call it the 100-day season. And 100 days, first of all, it's tough. It's tough on the crews. It's tough to try and get your work done. You got a very short period of time, and then you're finished in the middle of September, and you're waiting for your results. You get your results in probably late October, and then you got nothing. It goes quiet. You got no news until June coming up again. We wanted to stop that. We wanted to have a year-round exploration flow of activity, a good flow of news to our shareholders. We want to be active year-round. And so we went to Nevada to do that. And we feel now we have the right combination of projects to give us the positive news flow all year round, not just 3 months.
Perfect. And you noted the company is currently undervalued. So why do you feel that way?
Well, we had a study done on us when we were CMC Metals. It was a company called Fundamental Research Corporation. They're based out of Vancouver, and they did a valuation for us. And at that time, we hadn't picked up the Nevada properties, and we were trading at what were we trading at? We were trading at 3 cents, and we were valued at 12 cents. So then we did a rollback. And so you do the rollback 10 to 1, you should be valued at $1.20. And here we are trading at 20 cents. And since that, we've also acquired the Nevada projects. You do the math. To me, we're trading at probably under 20% of our value for sure. This is a value that's done by an independent company. They've got good geologists. They ask you tons of information. So you've got to provide them with all your data, and they look at it for a long time and write up their report. So these reports are brief glimpses on valuations of companies, but they give a very solid perspective on where you should be in the market.
Perfect. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for this thorough presentation. And like you said, all of your information is up there for anyone can get a hold of you and learn more about Walker Lane Resources. We're glad you joined us on the conference today.
Well, thank you to Emerging Growth, and thank you to yourself, Anna. It's been great today, and I hope to see you again sometime soon.
Wonderful. Yes, we look forward to keeping in touch with you with future conferences. And thank you again. Everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back.